Assalamualaikum. My name is Omni from 2K21 Telecom Department. Today in this lab I want to discuss lab 1 of DSP. Our instructor is Dr. Muhammad Jamil. First of all, I write all these labs on MATLAB, then make a PDF for my convenience to describe all these labs easily. So in task 1, we have to plot sine function. We have a time interval from 0 to 1 and we have frequency that is 1. Now for plot this signal we use plot command. Plot is equal to t comma signal, and finally we get an output that is like that as shown in figure. Now in task 2 we same plot sine function but with some extra things. First of all, we have a time interval from 0 to 1, frequency is equal to 1, signal sine is equal to 2 pi ft. For plot this signal, we use plot command and some few extra things which are we are giving title to this output as we like. Now in this figure, we give title plot of a sine wave. For writing something in x-axis, we use x-label command, and for writing something in y-axis, we use y-label command. Now we define an interval both for x-axis and for both y-axis. For x-axis, we define an interval from minus 0.5 to 1.5, and for y-axis, we define an interval for minus 1.5 to 1.5. In task 3, we same plot sine function, but in this task we have two signals of sine waves. So we have a time interval from 0 to 10, frequencies for signal 1 which is 10 and 520 for signal 2. Then plot both these sine waves giving title which is plotting multiple signals in one figure, writing x-axis for x label use, and for writing something in y-axis we use y label, then defining interval both for x-axis and y-axis. In x-axis we define interval 0 to 1, and in y-axis we define interval from -1 to 1 as shown in figure. Now in task 4 we plot two functions, but instead, as we did in last three labs, we use only dots instead of joining these dots to make a line. For that we have a time interval from 0 to 10. We have frequencies for both two signals. For signal 1 we have frequency 10, and for signal 2 we have frequency 520. Then plot signal 1 t comma signal 1, and for dot we use dot in then plot command, then use hold on, then writing signal 2 which is sine of 2 pi ft, plot signal 2 giving title which is plotting without connecting dots, and for writing something in x-axis we use x label, and in this specific task we write time in second in x-axis and amplitude in y-axis, then defining intervals both for x-axis and y-axis, 0 to 1 in x-axis and -1 to 1 in y-axis as shown in figure. Now in task 5 we first define comments. What are comments? Comment basically defining you that what we are doing in task, which are helpful for user to understand that code. So first of all we define data points which are 50, then define random numbers, plot that random numbers, then plotting mean basically is equal to average, then plot that mean signal and giving title which is mean of random uniform data, and we finally get an output as shown in figure. Moving to our task 6. In task 6, which is about functions. So first of all we define function, and in this specific task we define my function, and same we did with our file name. These are two same for defining these functions. So max element is equal to max of x and min element is equal to min of x, then end up with this function, and in output we only write big comma small, then my function means we calling our function and writing our array as we give in this task, which is 43, 22, 55, 11, 03, 48 and 3. Then we want a max element from this function which is equal to 55 and minimum element which is equal to 3. So only write big mean maximum element and small which means minimum element. So in task 7 we define our function which is my mean and write min is equal to x1 starting for loop, and means from starting for loop from first element till last element. If any element in the array is less than to first element, then that element we save it in min element, then end up our function, then in output we only write our array and writing our calling our array, and which is my main, and my main is 2 as shown in the output. Moving toward next task which is task 8, and first we define our function which is my max and writing max is equal to x1 starting our for loop from first element till last element. If any element in the array is greater than to first element, then that element will save in max, end up our loop. In command window we only write our array which is 3 7 5 2 9, and calling our function which is equal to m is equal to my max of x, and as shown in the array our maximum element in the array is 9, so we write 9. Moving to our task 12. In this task we plot two sine functions in same interface. For that we use subplot with a ratio of 1 ratio 2, which means one row and two columns. So first of all we define time interval from 0 to 0.5, then defining random numbers, then writing sine function and plot x, plot y, and we get an output as shown that we have two rows and one column, and these are because of using subplot we get two function in same interface. Moving toward task 13. In task 13 we plot four graphs on the same interface with 2 ratio 2 means two rows and two columns as shown in fig. These are all tasks our lab 1. Meet you in next lab task. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.